Welcome back to a new video. So I'm not sure what style this would be. I think this might just be a mic'd up, so it'll be quite long, but I'll kind of play it by ear. So I guess you'll know by the title of the video how I want to edit it. But I have the ability to move this over. I have the ability to do a video that's longer than 20 minutes now. I really have, it's like 5 hours. So I essentially can record the whole workout. Now it does make it a giant file, so it does make it a bit more difficult to edit. The method that I used before, where I would start the video before my lift and then end it after, actually allows me to edit a lot easier as well, because when you enter the file in the Sony Vegas, which I use, it just takes a while for it to get it set up so you can start manipulating it. But it's not that long. It's not that difficult. It's just something to be aware of when I'm doing these. It's easier theoretically to edit because there's less edits to do if I just leave it one continuous thing, but the file is quite large. But before I talk about the actual workout today and what my plans are for it, obviously I'm in the shed. It's quite cold. It's like in the mid 40s. So I have two heaters going, and you can see the other one right below here if you have a keen eye, and that is not using the power from the shed. I have an extension cord from the side of the house into here, because anytime I've plugged in more than one heater out here, it creates too much power, and then it trips the power thing in the house. So the power just turns off out here. So it's the most heat potentially I can have in. Now, what I wanted to put at the beginning of the video, I should have put this right at the very beginning, is suggestions for heating implements that I can use out here. So currently I have two relatively small powered heaters that I can use in my house. Like this little one is really nice for my room if it ever happens to be colder than other parts of the house. Most of the time it's not. I remember using this one during COVID a lot when I was teaching at home, because if you're not moving a lot, I would just get cold. And so it's nice to have that blowing on my feet just to keep my room a little extra cold or a little extra warm. The other one I have on that side is just loud. I don't know if you can hear it on the video, but it is quite loud, it also blows, I think, a little bit more air. It's pretty cheap. They're both pretty cheap. But what I wanted to ask is a suggestion of anyone of different brands or different versions of heaters that I could use. Now, obviously, if you go to, like, as I got a hair, industrial size heaters, there's lots of things that would heat this shed up very effectively and very well. But I only have the ability to use power out here, so I'm limited. The other method is to have the extension cord brought in, and I'm still limited in that regard from what I can use from the side of the house. So I don't have like the like industrial outlet. I don't know what the different voltage, but I only have a limited amount of voltage that I can use. So I don't know if there's a particular brand of a heater that would work better, or one that would be more power potentially, that wouldn't set the power wouldn't trip the power at my house for either the side of the house or in here. In here, I'd have to use one of the small ones to have an additional heater. But from the extension cord in, I don't know what the limit is for that. It's just, I have a normal house, so it's nothing that's like industrial for that sort of thing. But I would like to theoretically get more heat in, because once it's heated up, it stays pretty heated. It's pretty surprising. I mean, with this crappy insulation I have over here with that blanket, it actually does warm up in here. So it's like in the mid 40s outside. I would say it gets to the mid 50s. I usually estimate that it adds about 10 degrees when you're training to whatever temperature that it is when it's cold. Obviously, when it's warm, I'm not trying to increase the heat of the shed. But when it's cold like this and like everything's closed in, I think I get about 10 degrees additional. I would love to get a little bit more, because then if it's like 30 degrees and I'm able to get it close to 50, then that would almost cover the entire potential year. And it's not that I necessarily want to train 365 days out here in the shed. I do like going to the actual gym. There are benefits to going there, of course. But as I pull open my workout, not every workout that I'm going to do is going to be one that I want to go 30 minutes to the gym and drive through traffic for. Day like today is a good example of that. So I made some adjustments to the actual workout that's on here. And I mentioned this in another video. I'll mention it again here. I actually signed up for like the full year of the Weightlifting AI because it's significantly cheaper. It's like 26 bucks a month. So if you've tried it for a little while and you like what you're doing, that's something you can look into. I think most people probably got an email advertising that, but it ends up working out to like 26 bucks a month, which I think would be like a fair price for anyone starting the program. And for like a good program in general, as long as the app's working, as was the issue the last time I was on it, then I think the programming is really good. And I've generally been really happy with it. And of course, there's things that I've mentioned that can get better, like separating the jerks with the how difficult the weight was or the white lights. But I don't want to get into that because I will make a 4.5-hour video before I even start. So let's look at the actual workout today. So I made a adjustment to the snatch workout. So originally it was snatch doubles. Now one movement that I could have swapped it to was block power snatches. I didn't want to do block power snatches. I could, but I just didn't really want to do them today. I didn't want to do block work. So I also didn't want to do doubles from the floor since I just did them yesterday. And one of the other swaps that I had the potential, because I'm trying to stay as close to what the options are and not just make my own exercises, because at that point I can just write my own program, was a snatch balance. So I kind of combined the two. So I'm a snatch plus a snatch balance, and that way I'm still doing a snatch like it said. Doing a snatch balance is probably good for me to do, and it's kind of just a good variation. And because I'm out here in the cold, probably not going to lift as heavy. Although as I'm saying that, with these two heaters blowing both directions, I'm feeling pretty good, and I haven't really warmed up. I've just stretched a little bit. I've watched a couple different YouTube videos as I've sat around and tried to like touch the bar. That's essentially a good tip working it cold. If you just touch the bar a lot and then keep putting your hands by the heater, you can get the bar pretty warm, or at least warm enough for training. I'll most likely use straps today because when it is cold, it will tear my hands a lot more. Plus, yesterday I did all my doubles without straps, so I think I've earned a day of strap usage. But after the snatch plus snatch balance, which they start at 92 kilos, so I'm going to start my first set at 90 and then kind of play it by ear. Maybe they'll feel really good, really be kind of dictated by the snatch balance, how they feel. But it's 4 sets of those. So maybe get up to like 105 to 110 would be really nice to do with that. But if I just stick between 90 and 100, then that will also be good. It says, well, it doesn't give me the intensity anymore, but it's like 70 to 80% for the intensity. Front squats, it's actually 4 sets of 5, and they're at 139, so 140 kilos, which will not be fun. I can assure you that. But I think I will try to stay as close to those as possible, unless I'm like really, really popping off with those. And I might add some weight with them if they're feeling, juicy. But I have a feeling they're going to feel like trash because front squats always feel like trash. But I have done sets of 5 more recently, and I've done 140 for sets of 5. I've even PR'd my set of 5 at 155. So like my reps in the front squat are strong right now. So it wouldn't surprise me if they move pretty decent. Then I have some clean pulls, which I'll probably swap and do those at the very end. On the app, you can swap the order of your exercises, or you can just do them in whatever order you want. It's not really, I don't think that important to me to swap, but I can just swap it here if it will work. I'm not going to mess with it because the swapping feature doesn't work too great. Plus, as you know, if you have a non-iPhone type charger, probably for most phones, it makes it so it doesn't work as well. Your phone doesn't work as well because they're greedy. They want you to buy an iPhone specific charger. Even if it does charge the phone fine, it does make the touchscreen not as consistent, which was not the problem I was having before. I was having a problem with the app in any context, not just when it was charged in. That'd be pretty hilarious if I didn't realize that. But no, it was just issues with the actual app itself. But after the clean pulls, or I guess the clean pulls, these will be before the clean pulls, I have some push presses at 105 for triples, which are going to be they're going to be pretty intense. I might not be able to push up much past 105 because that's going to be a lot of intensity, but I'll do those out of the rack instead of doing power cleans on the floor because I don't need that extra clean volume. But pretty strength focused workout. I'm kind of looking forward to doing the snatch complex. I haven't done a snatch plus a snatch balance in quite a while. I've done obviously snatches and snatch balances recently, but not in that kind of Trojiti type complex. Now, I'm not going to do all the stuff in his complex, of course, but I kind of look at like you're doing a snatch plus like a snatch balance as like that realm of complex, which I think is probably a good one for me to do. But yeah, I've been warming up for a little bit, like I said, just moving around a tiny bit, trying to warm the bar up. And then tomorrow, I actually have more snatch. I have snatch plus hang snatch above the knee. But I actually have a max jerk tomorrow. I think at the beginning of the week when I went through the overview, I certainly don't remember seeing a max jerk attempt. So that's on there for tomorrow. So that will be interesting. I might do lift at the house tomorrow because it's really just 2 exercises. So I might have a couple days at the house, but crazy. And then, yeah, the next day is bottom of front. So it's a couple of different days. or I think the app updated. So sometimes it will update your week of training, because I was looking up at Thursday and it has bottom up front squats, and I know I've already changed that to regular ones once, but sometimes like when you go to bed and wake up, it will change the workouts a little bit, and that's always interesting. It doesn't do it too much, but this jerk max is certainly one that I don't know if I've ever had in the app before, so that will be interesting. Let me see what my max is. So let's go to my profile. I forget what I put my max is as for a jerk by itself. Oh, I put it as 150. So I think the reason it got triggered, not in a negative way, but the reason the AI was like, hey, what the heck, man, you need to increase that jerk a little bit, is yesterday I did a hang clean plus jerk with 150. So I think it lit a light bell going, I think this guy is ready for more than 150. So I might not be able to get more than 150, but just from the jerk out of the rack, I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to at least make an attempt at that, and hopefully do something like 155 would be nice, but that's a couple days from now. But it's interesting, or maybe that's tomorrow. I'm not worried about that because I got to start doing my lift now. I just said I was going to use straps, but I think I lied, which I do quite a lot with my training. I'm quite bad about sticking to what I originally say, but that's just kind of auto-regulation, you could call it. Auto-regulation is the scientific way of saying I just lie about everything that I'm doing with my training session. But I'm going to get some thumb tape on. I could certainly see myself changing and grabbing some straps and using those, but we'll kind of play it by ear. I can't wait to be done with this pink thumb tape. I really don't like that. I got the giant box from Weightlifting House. I forget how long ago now, but it was like the one that you're supposed to use for like a whole gym. I just bought it for myself because it's obviously cheaper to buy in bulk. But they had all of the colors, which I think they have black, blue, and pink. So I keep grabbing randomly down into the box and getting a pink one each time, which is, some would say, not ideal, but I'm not too opposed. It is just thumb tape, so it's not that big of a deal, but I'd rather just have all black or blue or whatever, because those are my more favorite colors. But I guess pink will have to work. I haven't put my knee wraps on or anything, and before I start putting those on, touch the bar a little bit. My back is still sore from Saturday from that deadlift, and I suppose probably a little bit from doing the heavy back squats yesterday, but that back squat, or I mean that deadlift from Saturday took my soul. And I went back and I looked at my old videos of doing like 285 to 290, like the kind of the progression I got to that 300, and I could just see it slowing down as I get to that 300. I think that at like the absolute peak right now that I could probably do about 305, but that would actually probably take my soul, and that would not be, the ideal thing to do for training when, I can already deadlift, as you can see, 300, so I don't necessarily need much more pulling strength. Some may argue I don't need literally any more heavy deadlifts ever, but it is a fun movement, and is one that I don't think I'll ever truly go away with, just because of how, I hate to say how easy it is, but I don't really have to like try hard to keep my deadlift to a good number, and I also don't have to do a lot to get it pushed up. As you saw, I just did normal weightlifting training and then just did a single once a week at a heavy weight, and I was able to get a 300. I feel like if I just dedicated some time to it, I might be able to get up to something like 700 pounds, like a 320, which is kind of cool. But also, I don't really care about my max deadlift. I think it's cool enough to do 300. Just like if you bench press like 315 pounds, to me, like the amount of effort it would take to get to like 405, not that I necessarily think I could, but like the amount of training that I would get to that certainly wouldn't be advantageous for other methods of training. So like I could probably push my deadlift up more, but my weightlifting is certainly going to suffer from that, and I'm not going to do a powerlifting meet, so there isn't really a ton of utility out of going absolutely bananas with that. But I suppose it also shows the absolute sheer force I'd be able to produce if I went to full Clarence Kennedy route. So I don't know what his best deadlift was. It's obviously more than mine. I forget what his big video was, whether it's like 320 or 340 or something. Well, like, when you look at someone like me who's already built pretty well for a deadlift, I've gotten up to 300 kilos, as you saw now 2 different times, 302 and now 300. If I went full snodule on everything under the sun, who knows what I would be able to get up to at this current level of my life, at this point in my life, or if I had started it earlier, what the deadlift would end up being. But I would certainly say the mid 300s would be very much in reach. And I know it might be weird to say, but I feel like fully decked out in all of the gears, I feel like 400 kilos would be in the cards. But it's hard to say. It's interesting to think about. I don't think it's really important to think about because it ain't ever going to happen. And even if I took all the gears in the world, it's not going to be to deadlift 400 kilos. Oh, that's certainly not what I would use it for. But I'm quite sore from yesterday. I actually think probably from Saturday too, but I trained hard yesterday, so another good reason to be out here in the shed. If everything goes bad today, then I'm only 10 feet from my house. Oh, man, front squats are going to be brutal today. I don't know why the AI likes to do that. It's like back-to-back front squat volume days. Not that 3x2 or 2 sets of 3 sets of 2 is like a ton of volume, but I mean, it's something. It certainly is something. Oh, I hit the back of my hat with that. That was weird. Oh. Well, the good news, the bar's feeling normal as far as the temperature of it. I just don't feel strong, but when have I ever felt strong? Oh. Oh. All right. Unfortunately, you don't get stronger by just doing the bar. So we're going to go ahead and add some weight. I'm trying to set my expectations pretty low for today as far as, the weight I should be get up to. Like I said, it'd be nice to do like 110 in this complex, but it also would be okay to not do that. I am not going to be very upset if I don't get up to that number, but it's kind of nice to, I suppose, to think in training, like, what would be a good or bad, average, good, or great day for a particular movement or sets of movement that you have. So, for instance, like I said, for this, it'd be like 110, but if I only do 90, then I would be fine with that. If I really struggle at 90, then I would say that would be a bad day. And a good day would be I do some at 90, I get to like 100, I do something around there. Then anything above that would be a great day. Then for the front squats, if I did all this, if I did 4 sets of 5 at 140, like I would say that's a real good day. But if I'm able to increase the weight and do, I don't know, 150, 155 for a set of 5 in those sets of 4, or in those 4 sets of 5, I would say that's a great day. So it's kind of it's very subjective, but you kind of want to set the range of what is possible. Like I'm not going to say like maybe I'll snatch and do a snatch balance with 130 today because it's just not realistic. Be dope, but it would not be probably even wise if I could do a 130 snatch right now to do it, nor would it be to attempt the snatch balance. All right, so we're gonna do the snatch, we're gonna do a snatch balance, then we're gonna go up to 60 kilos. Kind of looking forward to doing some clean pulls though. Definitely don't want to do like heavy deadlifts, so just want to do some light pulls at like 170 or whatever it is. All right. Well, honestly, didn't feel too bad. What's most surprising is nothing really hurts on that. Like my legs are a little bit sore, but it's not like, I don't know exactly how to describe it, but it's just normal soreness. Make sure I don't put this in front of the heater. I don't catch this workout shed higher. But my shoulders and wrists and stuff don't feel too bad. Nothing really feels like tight or achy, which is good. It means a lot of the accessories that I've been doing are hopefully taking hold a bit more. I'm recovering well, all that good stuff. I did not sleep as much as I'd want to last night. It's one of the trouble of trying to get these videos edited each night and stay up to date with it, is that unless I'm really dialed in with my schedule, I usually have to sacrifice a little bit of sleep. Thankfully not too much. Like, I don't feel bad today or anything like that. Still got like, what, 6.5 hours of sleep thereabouts, which is, you know, not ideal, but it's not like I got 3 hours of sleep. Certainly be able to tell if I got 3 hours of sleep, because I would have probably missed that 40 kilos. So we'll try to get some more tonight. I certainly will be able to get a ton during winter break. It's interesting. So the part of my hand that is most sensitive right now, so the palm of, well, the palm of my hand, but the pad below my ring finger doesn't have chalk that's covered it. So it tells me that there might be some fluid below it of a blister forming a little bit, because all the rest of my hand gets covered with chalk. But that one, you can see there's a spot where it's not covered, or at least like looks different than my other ones. So interesting, because I am like rubbing chalk in it right now and it doesn't really fill in. So probably makes sense why that part kind of hurts, or at least has a tendency to. It probably is getting a bit of a blister action on it. Nothing that's I'm feeling now, and since I'm just doing singles or a single snatch and then a snatch balance, it won't really, you know, be an issue. It's only a problem if I were to do like doubles today. Oh, all right. So this is just 60. Do the same thing. Try to keep the pull kind of slow, not to that I want to be slow, but just so I make sure that I'm keeping it close, doing it right. Because as you all know, my pull is very easy. All right. And I'm strong enough to pull incorrectly with very heavy weights. I don't feel super great. That one I can definitely tell slowing down a little bit, but it's one of those things that it's adding more weight so it feels heavier, but it's not bad enough where I don't think I can hit the sets I want. I'm gonna try a little bit harder on snatch, but honestly, technique feels good today, so we're just cruising. Cruising for a bruising. Alright. Yeah, 90, says 92. But we're just gonna go to 90. This is 80. I'm actually feeling pretty toasty in here. I'll be able to take this sweatshirt off after this set, which is ideal. Alright, that certainly not ideal. I was thinking way too hard on that set, and I just need to snatch it. Thinking about keeping my shoulders over and pulling the bar right, and just left it way out in front. It's one of those that's like, yeah, you could kind of run it out a little bit, but I don't have the space in here, and it's 80 kilos. Like, I shouldn't. It shouldn't happen. So we'll do a better rep here. I did the same thing with 90 kilos yesterday and ended up snatching well, so hopefully it's just a blip. All right. That's how the first one should have looked. I'm starting to feel my palm, so I think I'm going to power through it because it's just singles. It's only 4. I have like a really heavy snatch session on Friday, so I would like to not use straps for that. So ideally, I don't want to rip my hand open midweek and, you know, working sets. So if it gets too bad, I'll opt for straps, but hopefully we don't. Because I would, of course, like to not use straps. I also haven't mentioned my drink of choice. Most of the time it's just water or something. Actually, I have tea, non-caffeinated green tea. It's probably room temperature now. No, it's still pretty warm. But I wanted a hot beverage while I was training, but not one like coffee. Green tea is kind of a nice, I won't say it's watery, but it's like closer to water than coffee is. So I have that. Not really to warm me up, but as like the placebo to warm me up. All right. We don't need my warm up anymore. I'm actually feeling like physically warm, which is nice. It's the hardest thing of when it's cold out here, but I think having the second heater is helping a ton. Just getting that cross sectional of heat in front of where I am. All right, so this will be the first working set, and I want to do it just like that second attempt at 80, where I just do a good snatch rep. And really just feel the aggressive turnover, but just feel it, my hands pressing up in that J-hook part of my hands. Or I guess that natural J-hook that happens as you're catching under the bar. And then to reinforce that again with the snatch balance. So this is 90. I'm gonna make it easy. So we only got 4 sets today. 4 chances to do good work. I'm real happy with that. That felt really nice. I felt good enough to go to 100. Everything about that rep felt like the snatch and the snatch balance. Oh, it's nice to struggle with 80 like you saw, because I was overthinking. And then there, not necessarily go back to that same line of thinking where I was thinking about different things, but be able to think about the correct things, reinforce the correct technical things I was thinking about. So while pulling, I was trying to pull normally, so not trying to pull slow or anything. But as I was pulling, Try to keep my shoulders over, keep it close, past my knees, because one thing I've noticed is when I get to my knee, it gets a bit loopy, so then I end up bouncing the bar out. So trying to keep my shoulders over as long as I can, as I'm keeping the bar close, and then as late as I can, then pop under it. And I felt like I did that one much better than that 80 I missed. So the snatch felt easy. And the snatch balance is just getting under and being aggressive. Ain't really too much to think about with those. So we'll give 3 whites. As YouTube demonetizes me for saying 3 whites. Alright. So now we got the big 100. This would be, this would be like a great day to be able to get to 100. Or a good day, I guess. It'd go between 90 and 100. Then anything above 100 would be a great / fantastic day. That's really a continuum of types of days. From bad to fantastic. To nuclear. Nuclear, where you just PR everything, but I'm not at that stage in my lifting life where I'm just going to PR multiple lifts in the same day. Unless it's a squat and a deadlift. It's about the only thing I'd probably do both in the same day. I suppose, like, if I got in a really good shape, like a snatch and clean jerk, PR on the same day would be possible. But get a little bit more chalk. There's one thing I know, is you can't have too much chalk on your hands. And before you say, well, you could, and it could slip, I'd say, you just are a maniac. You're just literally just putting standing chalk on your hand. But rubbing chalk in your hands, I've never had too much. I've never had the bar slip because of chalk. In fact, I don't think I've really ever had the bar slip because of grip. Grip's never been the problem. I just always just watch Ilya put on all the chalk on his hands. All the things that he does, I just copy that. I can't start as fast as he does. I can't be as aggressive. But gosh darn it, I can put the same amount of chalk on my hands. Alright. We want to do the same thing. Be aggressive, be confident. And just stay over. Make it a good rep. Ooh. Kind of cooking today. I can't believe. Like, the snatch was slightly forward, but it was one of those reps where, like, you catch, you're like, that's just the tiniest amount forward. The snatch balance feels easy. When do snatch balances ever feel easy? I suppose after a snatch they feel easier. Doing them out of the rack must all just be just the worst way to do them. It must just be make them so much more difficult. Alright, so we have to get 105. Yeah, because there's like 105 is a smart jump. So we're going to put this blue on in the clip. Because my my Ooga Booga brain wants to go to 110. But I have 4 sets. This will be the 3rd. So if I can do this one well, then of course I'm going to go to 110. But when you add in that factor of the snatch balance, it is certainly the wild card. If it was just a single, then of course I felt great enough to go up. But when you haven't done a movement in a while, a specific complex, then it's probably better to be a little bit more cautious. And I haven't done a heavy. This will be more than I snatch balance, I think. Unless I remember, I think I did 100 for 3. when I did it. And last time I did a snatch balance with any weight prior to that has been months. So I'm sure the reason why that 100 felt easier is because I'm getting back into just general shape, but shape for that specific movement. Get some chalk on. I think we need some PEMs, some performance enhancing music on this set. And some green tea. It's anabolic green tea. Won't show up in any water test though, don't worry. Anabolic great value Walmart green tea. I was seeing a video talking about Starbucks and them having some crazy tea or some lemonade or something that had like 400 milligrams of caffeine. That's crazy. I think like 160 before I train. And like throughout the course of a day, of course, I'm getting more than 400 probably. And I metabolize it very well because I take it very frequently and I weigh a lot. I can't imagine like just getting like a random lemonade from it wasn't Starbucks, it was Panera. And just getting lit up and not knowing it has caffeine. I think for most people who lift and like utilize caffeine a lot, you'd probably be able to tell pretty quickly that, you know, something's awry, that you're feeling like, feel like I'm ready to lift, and you kind of feel that energy. But if you're someone that avoids caffeine, is not accustomed to it, that'd be a pretty wild feeling to get. Go back to the first. I don't remember having like any like insane times with caffeine where I took way too much. Just like competitions is where I take the absolute most, where I go up to like 600. But like, I still weigh almost 240, so it's hard to really say if that's like, when you look at the studies that talk about how much they give dosage-wise to people that study the effects of caffeine, those are interesting to read if you read those. Now, it's not to your advantage to do that any day of training other than like the competition, but it's kind of crazy what they actually do in the studies, and people aren't dying. But for a one-time burst, might be ideal. All right, 105. Negative, snatch wasn't as good as the 100. Positive is, I think I'm doing a really good job on snatch balances. Maybe y'all can dog me in the comments if I'm just gaslighting myself, but I feel like I'm catching it and riding it down pretty quick. I'm doing a good job. I'm going to get extra hyped up on this one to do 110, but I definitely think, well, of course, I think I can do both, otherwise I wouldn't load the weight, but I definitely think I can do a really easy snatch balance based on that last one, even if I struggle a bit on this snatch. But I doubled it yesterday without straps, so should be able to do it for one. We're starting to cook now, though. Let's add this 100. It's going to say 104, which only a psychopath would go up to. So we went to 105, of course, because we're not a maniac. And then it's going to say, do 109. Crazy. Absolute unhinged behavior by the AI. I wish I could just set it to where it only does 5 kilo jumps in that case. I don't need it trying to tell me to do 4 kilo jumps. Maybe it's like a trick. So it always says like do 4 kilos, but like they know 98% of every single lifter is going to just add 5. So it's really trick you. Get you a little angry, fired up for your lift. Like AI thinks I can only go up by 4. well, I'm adding a multiple of 5. But really, it's a confidence or laziness, or the fact that counting by 5s is morally superior than counting by 4s. If you disagree, then, you know, you just aren't moral. You're just a bad person if you want to count by 4s. 5s. All right. Crank this up a little bit. Get a little hype. Time to get it. 110. Time to make it a day. Make sure I don't shake this thing off. Come on. Make it a day. Come on. Well, we made it a day. Whew. That's great. That's a fantastic day. It's really good. It's crazy. I did not think I'd be able to get that high today. Whew. But we did it. If you made it this part of the video, thank you for peer pressuring me to not look bad. Nothing makes these videos look worse when I just miss a bunch of lifts and look like I'm ready to rage quit. Rage quit weightlifting. Ready to just throw all my plates in the trash. Oh, wait, I got front squats now. Ugh. Front squats my favorite. Better than bottom up front squats, which I have, well, I will be swapping later this week, but the AI is a little goofball and thinks I'm going to do those. Maybe if I was trying to deadlift 800 pounds, I would. But I ain't trying to load those up. It wanted me to do 165 or 6 with the bottom up back squats. So like pin back squats or whatever. I tried to do that. So like the last time I could, the AI, it started to add those into the app and into my program. And then it was like 2 weeks of deload, which threw me over the edge. But I remember trying to set them up out here. And the height that I would have to get to, it was like a west side high squat. Like it would be high for west side. The level I had to get to in order to get any sort of leverage to move up. If I was doing like a true pin squat, I could do like, I was struggling with like 70 kilos. I'm just not built. And like, I felt only my lower back working in that movement, which you could argue it's like just be more upright, but my body just doesn't move like that. my body just can't be upright. If you watch for my squats for any length of time, like I'm trying to stay as upright as possible on every single one of my squats, but I'm just going to go forward. I'm just built like that. I'm built not the front squat, not built the back squat, or at least like for that particular movement. I think anyone that's built, you know, a certain way can still get good at the movements, but it's hard to say that, you know, I'm built for a squat when you see how much better I am at deadlifts. It's hard to argue that I wouldn't be built more advantageous for having a crazy deadlift just based on, you know, what I've literally done in those weights. But bottom up squats, yikes. Those are, I'd rather do tempo or pause. Like, I'm not opposed to variations of the squat. The tempos were hard that I had last week, but I actually liked them more so for the back squat than the front. But it's hard for me to argue that getting a tempo squat wouldn't help me out more than doing a bottom-up squat, just based on how it feels and the muscles that were made sore. And my legs, my quads actually got sore from the tempo squats. I can tell you, anytime I've done a bottom-up squat, and the last time I did AIs, I've done them in the past, because like Anderson squats or pin squats are, you know, a movement people talk about. And I've experimented with them, and the reason I don't do them or like them is they're just good mornings for me. The only way I can start to lift is with my back, and that's just not the main lever you want to have in a squat, or at least especially for an accessory movement. So I've always geared on the side, or eared on the side of just normal squats or pause squats. There was a good period of time in my training where my pause front squat was like 95% of my regular front squat, because I was just really good at being in the bottom position of the front squat, or just bad at front squats, a little bit of both. But now I've gotten better at maintaining my position in that stretch reflex. So I think that was more of it, is like I would try to bounce out of the bottom like a normal squat, but then I would just get thrown forward, and then you just miss a squat when that happens. Whew. I'm actually going to take these ones off and put on the heavy duty ones. So I'm trying to use them more. I don't typically, they're quite cumbersome, they're quite large, and just like when they're wrapped up. So I don't necessarily like to take them to the actual gym when I go, because it makes my bag a little too cramped. But out here, it's kind of the perfect situation for them, which is why I'm kind of glad I've had them. Is I'm not going to get my regular, I have to take off my sweats. I'd have to figure out how to get it up my leg with being sweaty already. And I just don't really want to fight a knee sleeve or strip down to put it on, because I'm already warm. And especially out here, not only do I, is it good to stay warm in training in general, but like out here, like warmth is like very important. Like I don't want to just take this off and get cold, because the amount of time it would take me to get them on, and then, just have them on just for that little added benefit, when I could probably, like the way that those work, once I get used to them, I'll probably almost get as much out of those as I do the regular sleeves. The nice thing with the sleeves, of course, is that the tension is consistent that you have with them, and they don't loosen during training. You don't have to take them off and like redo them or anything. They're not going to pinch the back of your leg because they bunch up or whatever. So it's for like max out lifts, definitely you want to go with the sleeves, just because it's one less thing that you have to think about. But for like a normal training session like today, it's actually the perfect time. You see, these are both of them. It's just a ton of reps. And they're the same length as those white ones, just because they're thicker. The wrap makes it so much longer, but it's a bit obnoxious. One thing that's nice with Tuesdays is there's no distractions for me as far as like a Monday night football game or anything to be watching. And that's what I kind of realized with Sundays. It might be nice to have it be a more relaxing day, so I can just kind of relax and watch football and do that, like do stuff that like exercises and stuff that I can do while I watch football, so I'm not really distracted by it. But also, like it's probably good for me to have a day off, or at least a day off that's like not normal lifts for the most part. Won't always be the case, I'm sure. I'm sure I'll get itchy on one of those days and want to do at least some like pressing and stuff. But as far as like jumping ahead to like the Monday workout, which I've done in the past, I'm probably not going to do, especially even the Mondays are, if they're heavy like they were yesterday, I'm not going to do 2 heavy days like that. Heavy volume days too in a row, because the AI would not be able to count for my stupidity in that regard when it assumes that you're taking a day off. But doing like rehab type stuff and trying to recover as hard as possible, I guess that's kind of the mindset. Is it's not just like not really trying to be lazy, but it's like try to recover as hard as possible on that day off, because you have all of that energy still, at least I do, to want to train for the most part. So just take all of that and put that into stretching, into cardio, into rehab type stuff, and just try to get as dialed in for the next day of training as possible. And I think that's why I trained well the next day, is I tried to do everything well that I could, and just kind of relax on that day, but also just recover as hard as possible. And so I think that I actually was able to get more recovered. We're going to do one front squat without anything on my knees, which is not going to sound, it does not sound fun, but we're going to do it. So sets of 5. Ugh. All right. I actually don't feel too bad. Usually, like, the first squat rep makes you think that you can't ever do a squat because everything's so sore, especially after doing another movement. But I think because it was just snatches, I don't feel nearly as bad. So we're gonna get these bad boys on, and we're just gonna throw the red on and just start doing some. We'll do a single there. We'll do a single at 120, and then just start doing sets because it's sets of 5. Like I'm not doing sets of 5 on the way up. Ain't nobody got time for that. That's for sure. Okay. Where is this? Perfect. This is a little bit more difficult to get the side pinched in or like folded over, but definitely, like, if you're on the fence about getting them, I definitely, like, they're definitely heavy duty. They're different than the other ones, but if you like the knee wraps and you kind of want ones that are a bit thicker and denser, these are certainly fit the bill. I don't know how the material, I guess it's more like nylon-ish type material. It's still quite stretchy. As you can see, you know, it stretches out still. But compared to the other ones I have, those ones are definitely more like cloth-like. They still support a lot, which is why, you know, I wear them. If they really didn't do anything, I probably would never bother with them. But they do help. These ones definitely, they're definitely next level. It'd be kind of wild to wear powerlifter wraps. I'm actually going to check the video, make sure we're just vibing. Let me pop in. We're at 51. I've been snatching for 50. Well, I mean, not literally, but I work out slow. I guess I just talk too much. But it's also one of those things, it's like, would it be better to do that session faster and miss a bunch more reps because I wanted to rest less? Probably not. And when you have less thinking, you can usually go through the workout faster. You can go through the sets faster. Like these front squats, like, they're going to be hard. I'm going to have to focus on them, but I'm not worried about missing out in front or like I'm not worried about technical breakdown. I'm worried just like normal strength breakdown, which is certainly mentally a lot easier to grind through than obviously like a forward snatch or something. I've been going back and forth about using wrist wraps on these front squats. I don't have any wrist issues right now, thankfully. I think it's because I wear these all the time. But on front squats, I feel like having these on allows my front rack to be just a little bit stronger. So it allows my hands to just be a little bit tighter when I'm holding them up. I don't know if that's necessarily true or if it just, because it feels tight around my wrist, it makes it feel like my front rack's tighter. I'm sure it's a little bit of both, but we're going to throw them on because it is a set of 5. And get that wedgie out. I don't know, sets of 5 are one of those things. It's like, if you told me I had to max my front squat today, I'd be a lot more like ready to go than this is like a set of 5. I feel like I'm being punished. You have to go run a mile. You have to do sets of 5. Like, I feel like that's just in the same realm. But we'll do a single here, 120, and then just start repping 140 until my eyes bleed, which will be after about 2.5 reps. My belt is also in my car, so I'm not going to wear that today. I don't think I really need it. I don't think I'm setting any crazy PRs, but certainly would help the sets of 5 and the push presses. But for most training, most of the time, it's probably good not to wear them until you got like really heavy lifts, or like the case with my back squats yesterday, where my back was actually not where the belt actually supports, but a little bit higher. It was a bit sore, so out of just an abundance of caution, just to make the squats as theoretically as easy as possible, just to have it on. But for me, if I can only pick belt or sleeves or wraps or whatever, I would go wraps 100% of the time. 100% of the time. But I also train with these wraps or sleeves or whatever just about every single possible training session, and I don't wear belts for nearly every training session. until I'm very close to peaking, which at that point you want to kind of use the belt for everything, because you're not trying to build any strength, you're just trying to maximize what you got, which in my case it's not that much. So we took the manly jump to 120. For front squats, I can still get away with the 70 to 120 jump. It's not usually too bad. I just can't go to 3 reds yet. That's the next step. But the fact that, you know, I can go to here does save time and energy. I could take, you know, I could go to 100 to 120 and, you know, take all the smaller jumps, but I ain't about that life. All right. So 120, and then sets of 5. Yikes. Doesn't feel too bad. I'm not gonna lie. I still don't want to do a set of 5 in the front squat. My sets might just be at 140 today. I'm not feeling that aggressive. But I mean, 4 sets of 5 at 140 in the front squat will certainly be a very good training session. But like I talked about at the very beginning, would not be categorized as great. As a great session. But we don't have to be great every day in every exercise. We just got to be good. All right. So now we're past the hard part of the training session, so I'm going to try to be a little bit more expeditious with these sets. After these sets of 5 in the front squat, then I'm going to do the push presses out of the rack, and then clean pulls, and then I'm going to be on my way. Get this video edited, which is going to take an actual long time to render, but it is what it is. All right, I think we just gotta cheat with music so I don't have to listen to my pain. I think that's the only way we're getting through. Oh, wow, that was fun. Interactive. Oh, the reason I took the front rack off at the end is I was kind of on 2 fingers. As I go through the set, it gets further into my fingers, which means that it stretches them back a little bit more. So I could lose my knee wrap here. I could hold it and walk it in, but I mean, also kind of looks cooler to just bodybuilder cross arm it when you're walking it in. But it does get it out of my fingers a little bit more. Wow, that was not fun. Woo, we're gonna keep them right there, because that was hard. It's one of those things that it probably doesn't look hard, but trying to like keep my front rack for a set of 5 is really hard. It is very difficult. It's always been difficult, even when I was skinny. Because even when I was skinny, I was weak. And even though I'm bigger now, I'm still weak. But like right there, like you see how my front squats go, like doing a bottom up front squat, it's literally just gonna be me right here trying to extend my back, which might be nice for some movements like a Zercher squat, but I don't hate myself enough to do a Zercher squat. I think exerters are the most pointless movement. That's my controversial opinion after a set of 5 in the front squat. Stay tuned for the next set where I say something else controversial. Not fun. Not fun. Same weight. I'll have front rack. That's just 4 sets of 3. But we're going to keep it there. I keep having snot, which is not fun. But 3 more sets of 4. 3 more sets of 4. 3 more sets of 3. That one didn't feel too bad. My big focus with them is just trying to mimic the dip drive of a jerk and then trying to push the bar behind me as much as I can. Obviously, as it gets heavier, from a fatigue standpoint, it's going to just be out in front where I eventually will fail if I do. But, of course, want to try to do it correctly as long as you can, so you can get the most strongest. All right. Oh, it won't be 2 hours. 2 hours deep. Although the pools will go really fast, so these are. I mean, I'm already ready for my second set, so we're already vibing. RP. Well, good thing I checked the camera because the battery died. But if I remember correctly, it was not during, or it was sometime during push presses. So I'll kind of do a quick recap to make sure all my bases are covered. So I just did my second set of 3. I have 2 more sets of 3, and I'm doing them at 105. I think the first set recorded and it cut off during the second one, but I did the set of 3. I mean, that's why it's up there. But 2 more sets of 3. Second one felt good. I had my hands a little bit more narrow, so it felt like I was pressing more similar to how I would in a jerk. Not that you're necessarily pressing, but like that the same biomechanics, the same pathway, I guess would be a good way to say it. So we got 2 more sets of 3, and then some pulls at 172. So, I mean, probably just 175 or 180. After my last set, I'll drop it down here, do the first pull at 105, and just go right to 175 probably. Because I'm trying to get this done. I'm trying to get this work in. Alright, so 2 sets down, 2 more to go. Feeling pretty decent on these. So I'm glad I stuck with the push presses. Certainly more difficult than strict presses, but it's good for me to do. It's like vegetables. It's good for you. last one was hard, but we got one more set. We're gonna do the same weight, another triple. Oh, that's hard, but it's good. It's like it's like the perfect weight for today. We're gonna start turning off the heaters too, because I don't need it any hotter. And for pulls, I could be in the middle of Antarctica and I would still pull heavy without a problem. Whew. I don't know what I want to do with the extension cord though. I feel like for now I'm going to leave it in the shed, like looped in, and just make sure it's unplugged from the house so I don't have any you know, electric problems or fires out here. But I mean, now that I'm training, like, it feels like it's in the mid 60s. Like, it feels like I'm in the house. Although the house we keep at like 68. Like, I don't feel any colder than I would be in the house, but obviously, you know, I've been training. So you do get that placebo or literal, like, your body temperature is increased when you are exercising. So you do get that benefit of, you know, training, obviously, of being warmer. But I think even if I was just sitting out here, then I would become more acclimated for one, but it definitely feels like it's in the mid 60s at this point. So if I had like a nice heater, like, I would just get to this point faster and be able to turn off the heaters and not just run them the whole time. Not that, you know, it's not the worst thing in the world to, you know, have heat, but it's would be nicer not to have them run the whole time and potentially, you know, maybe save a little bit of electricity. Not that not running them for 20 minutes when you've run them for an hour and a half is going to make too much of a difference, but like a little bit, maybe just a tiny bit. All right. So last set of 3, 105 again. We're gonna get the good tunes popping. Get a little pumped too, like muscularly, not pumped to do this set, but get a little upper body pump. So we'll chalk up. Drop it after this set. Drop my chalk. Not ideal. Not ideal at all. But I didn't mention I spit in the shed. I spit where my sand is, and then I use the sand to kind of like clean it up. I don't just leave like wads of loogie around. So I have sand like all underneath the shelving and back behind me. So if I do need to spit, I either spit in the sand or near the sand and then just brush the sand over it. And then that always takes care of it. But I'm not that gross. I'm just like 98% gross. But also, you don't have to lift in my shed. I do. So you want to come fight me about it? Don't, because I'll call the police if you come out here. If you come in my backyard, start knocking on my shed door, I'm going to poop my pants and then throw the poop at you. I ain't gonna play fair, that's for sure. All right, let's go. Nah. Well, almost did all the reps. Fortunately, I ran out of juice. Now, I'm going to put that I did 2 reps. I'm going to put my reps in reserve at 0 because I don't want to do another set. If you put that you like truly failed, they'll just give you another set. And I don't want to do another set. As you saw there, like I did most of the rep. Like I got all the fatigue I would get from locking it out. I ain't trying to do more. But we got pulls now. I'll be able to power through those in a millisecond. You got to take your strengths where you can. For me, it's in the pool. So we're going to hit this real quick. And then burp. And then we'll just go, it says 172, but that's a not a fun number to load. All right. These will probably feel good on my mid back, doing a lighter, faster pull than a deadlift. All right. Get this loaded. So leave the yellow on with the red on and the green. I wish they had a better system for pulls to rate the difficulty, but they don't. You just do whatever weight you want, which, you know, for someone like me, it's not really that difficult because I'm good at pulls. So I'm never really going to be like hitting a max or rep, you know, like a reps in reserve max on a clean pull. But I know there are certainly probably some people that would get some heavy pulls and would like to put that, you know, felt like a maximal rep. And it's certainly different, you know, if you do a clean pull or deadlift, like my 300 on last Saturday, like that's gonna have an impact on training for sure. So if like you're like me and pulls are really easy, you know, it's important for, I think, the AI to know that, because it could give me more volume, or it can know or extrapolate that I'm good at them, so I'm probably built for them, and know not to bias them. So give me them less. It'll just give it more information, just like if you have the clean and jerk, and you're able to say if you missed the jerk or the clean, you know, that's important information, like the hang clean I did yesterday. I think it'd be important for AI to know that on the first 150 that I missed the hang clean, not the jerk. Obviously didn't attempt the jerk, but it would give that information, like if you're always missing cleans or always missing jerks, it'd give you that, it'd be able to understand that, which I think the more information it's able to understand about someone is better. But I don't know how they would exactly program that, but I think it is something that they need to have in for sure. Reps in reserve for pulls, and clean and jerk separation for the white lights. It could even be real simple. It could be 2 sets of white lights. Like you could have done a 3 white lights clean and a 1 to 2 white lights jerk. I actually think that's probably what they should do. So it would just be 2 sets of lights, and you'd be able to delineate. And you could do that even for snatch complexes. So today, how I did snatch plus snatch balance, I could say snatch was 2 whites, 1 red, snatch balance was 3 whites. So then it would have even more specific information, like, oh, that's weird, like he did a snatch that was pretty normal, but then the snatch balances he did heavier than the last time and they were easier than last time. It just gave it more information. So I think that's like a next level thing that they could add in, because even like a normal coach isn't going to necessarily, you know, look at that too much in a program, the separation of, you know, a complex like that. But an AI system that's automated would be able to take in that more information and be able to synthesize it in a way that would actually be able to inform training. But I mean, at worst, it's like, at least I could search back for snatch balance and know that like this was my best one, even if it was in a complex. So it gives me more information too. More information, probably better. All right. So this is a triple. This is 175, I hope. Hope the clips are on both sides, but we'll find out here in a second. Oh. This is my best ever clean. Not going to be cleaning it today. I'm starting or trying to stick true when it gives me clean pull reps like this to doing triples and not just doing like a big set, because I'm strong enough where I could honestly do like a set of 12 just all together and be done with them. But I want to do them quick as far as the speed of the rep and not just get them done just to say I did the volume. Because for me, I don't need a set of 12. I don't think anyone really needs a set of 12 in the pool. But especially me, I don't need that kind of intense volume in the pool. I just need more of the speed and the practice of the clean pool itself. Also doesn't mean I don't need to rest that much. So as you can hear, I'm not recovered from that set, but it's a pool, if I can say that right, a pole, and it's one that's not hard. I mean, half the reason I'm out of breath is because I've been talking for 2 hours. You think I'd get tired of it, but not this psychopath. All right. Bounces over ever so slightly to the one side. The only issue I had making this platform is the width is too long. I should have made it a little bit shorter, but it just means I have to pay attention where I drop the bar a little bit more. It's not too bad. I mean, honestly, for a home gym, I don't have any issues with it. And the wood is grippy, so the actual material is good. I just should have spent more time when I was making it to cut it down. Just probably 3 or 4 inches on each side. Then it would be the perfect width. But now I have so many nails in it that it's literally never going anywhere. If I redo it, I'm going to build above it. That's my new strategy. Eventually, I'll have the perfect bottom because I'll have 8 layers and my head will be going through the ceiling. But honestly, with the way I built it, I think this will hold up for a very long time. The only issue that I could ever envision is if for some reason the wood would get cracked, but I don't drop metal plates on. There's nothing that would land on it to do that. I guess maybe if there was some sort of crazy flood and it got super wet and then there was weird humidity and stuff, it might damage the wood, but the shed has never had standing water in it. It just has had water along the edge. Nothing that would actually get up high enough to get onto the wood itself. But I mean, there could be some sort of historic flood, but thankfully, so where the camera is, it's the back of my yard and it's a super steep hill. So the water would come down theoretically and go past the shed, but it's not going to go around the shed and then fill up. It would have to come in from the back and flood in directly in. So unless a meteor hit it, the back of it, and made a giant hole and then it rained a whole bunch, that would potentially be the only way that water would get really into the shed. Thankfully, the people that put this together, it's all cement all on the outside, so it's not just wood. Obviously, it's wood on the top, but the base is cement. So they did a really good job building it into the hill. I don't know why it's so nice, the area I live in, but I'll certainly dig it. I mean, it's December 11th or 12th or whatever. I'm out here. I'm able to get this bad boy warm enough to train and do all this lifting in. That's insane. And you see the crappy insulation I have. I'm not doing much out here with it. It was built just really well. So I lucked out with that. Because this is certainly not a common thing for the price point that I bought my house for about $75,000 when I did. Now 6 years ago. So as you can imagine, it's about more than doubled in price since then, but now I can't afford the house that I live in. Or I think I could. I would just have to sell this one, of course, but okay. I really just want to do a set of 6, but we're going to do 2 sets of 3. Because I just 4 sets of 3. Everything's just been 4 sets. Not bad. It's pretty easy. I'm feeling my left trap a bit more. So it kind of tells me a lot of the like rehab stuff I'm doing to like massage and loosen that area up is actually helping downstream with my shoulder and stuff. Because I've noticed that my lockouts look better in general. It's not perfect, but like I'm having a lot less reps where I'm really like getting pressed down and having to like really repress it back up. That's a lot that are just normal, you know, wobbly or whatever, but I'm not really like getting defeated in the shoulder. And I think a lot of that's just working and stretching and trying to strengthen everything in that area and just trying to work on that area, because my actual shoulder doesn't have any like pain or anything. It's literally just next to my trap and neck, like in that top part, and it just makes my neck stiff, which I think that's just more like soreness type pain. It's not like I have an injury necessarily. So really trying to work on that, and it's probably honestly making my snatches better too, because I have a feeling that as that all loosens up, my turnover will start to look more symmetrical and just generally faster. Obviously, if I can get my left to move the same as my right, then they're going to both move more efficiently and at least at the same speed, which will be a net gain in speed. But man, we just got to get this done. This is going to be a behemoth of a video. So if you truly made it this far, I want you to comment that Joe Flacco is awesome at football. Anything about Joe Flacco, then I know that you at least skipped to this part of the video, which even if you decided to skip to the end of this monster of a video, I still appreciate you, because I've done the same thing before on long videos. But I'll try to put timestamps in it. That's what I'll do for this one. I'll put timestamps of at least for the movements, so if you want to click around a little bit, it'll allow you that freedom. But I'm not going to do timestamps for topics, because that's way too much. That's way too much. I can assure you. I can at least do the exercises. But what was I going to say? So if you like the style of video, you know, comment Joe Flacco is awesome, or something positive, negative, I suppose, about Joe Flacco. And then I'll know you at least made it to this part. But these kind of videos, you know, as you saw, I've been talking this whole time, so not difficult. I just ran out of battery, like you saw. And for a session like this, like, I got a lot of work to do, so it took me a while. But I mean, I probably did this session faster than I otherwise would have if I wasn't doing it mic'd up. So I mean, even if nobody watches this, it's a net benefit on my life, because I just train faster. I train faster, and I try to work, I think, just a little bit harder. I always try to work hard, but like, I feel like it's just a different thing when you talk about what you want to do in a set, and then you just go and do it right then. But I don't know why I'm waiting so long to do this. It's just 175. It's just 175. All right, we are done. We are done. Threw my strap over there. Hopefully that wasn't too loud for my neighbors, but I think with having this thick rubber, the wood platform, and then the old platform below it, I feel like it's got to absorb a lot of it. Maybe not for the pulling at the end, but for everything else, I think it'll be all right. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a neighborhood nuisance. I can assure you I probably am, but we'll get that last set locked in. Day is complete. Glasses are on. I'm going to get this weight off. Get the electricity. You can see it is hotter in here because now my glasses are fogged up because of how cold they are still. But Whew. If you made it this far, I do appreciate it. Let me know what you thought down below of this monstrosity. A lot of these Mic'd Up videos I try to keep with shorter workouts, so the video is shorter. But if days that I'm out here in the shed, even if it's a long session, I guess I have about like an hour and 15 before the battery dies for a video. So I could do an hour long. I could do 5 hours long as I'm training. I just kind of have to look at the battery. So I apologize for that cut in the middle, I suppose. But, you know, it is what it is. And enough rambling, I suppose. I need to end the video at some point. So made it this far. Appreciate it. Tell me how Joe Flacco is going to win the MVP. Make me feel good about my Cleveland Browns. But with that being said, I'll talk to you in the next video. And have a great day. Peace.